For me, the beginning of Obey was reading George Orwell, 1984, but also seeing a film called They Live, in which there were secret messages that you could only read with glasses. Some said obey, some said consume, but Obey was just a name that I chose to go with propaganda-style work I was and still do on the streets, because I think that Obey is an important statement that a lot of people deal with subconsciously but not consciously. The two books I'm doing with Albin Michel is Earth Crisis, which is basically just a large format version of what I did, of the images that I did for my Eiffel Tower installation. Now that was an amazing thing to get to do during COP21, but it's about a fight that I've been waging for 20 years. I've been making environmentally themed art for 20 years. So there's a second book that's part of the collection that shows the history of my environmental works with text about the works, and it's the first time any of these things have been put together as one cohesive presentation, and it's beautiful. I'm very happy with it. My philosophies of make the invisible visible and push products, not just pledges, are based on the idea that frequently people can see right before their eyes something like a forest fire, but they don't see that some of the variables that happen in climate change happen because big corporations have such a stranglehold over government, which means that policies that would protect people from carbon emissions, they're not visible. So making these dynamics, not just the images that symbolize these things, but the relationships between governments, corporations, the environment, pollution, making those things visible is very important. The other thing I think is that people frequently don't have disposable income for charity, or at least they don't think they do. Even though they'd like to help a cause, the idea of sending a check to an organization, it just seems out of reach. So when I make works that appeal to people about these causes, I choose with my products to donate money back to the cause. So frequently, commerce can be a way to support good things if it's commerce with a conscience. This mandala that I created, it's the Earth Crisis mandala. This was the original design that informed the Earth Crisis globe that was installed at the Eiffel Tower. So the idea of making a piece that demonstrated beauty and harmony, but also there were cautionary elements woven into it, that it would have the tension as well as the harmony. That was very important to me conceptually. And it's an image that works round. And I frequently work in rectangles, so it was great to work on something that I thought would translate for the globe. And that was the original inspiration, and everything that's part of this project evolved from that. I hope that my style of work entices a different group of people to respond to environmental issues than those who are usually seduced by nature photography or nature graphics. Because my work is really, it comes from urban culture, but whether we recognize it or not, are all living in this world that we're impacted by everything that goes on with the environment, whether you live in what you'd consider a natural environment in the countryside or whether you live in a city. It's all part of the same ecosystem. So for me, bringing in more of an urban crowd is very important to the cause. It's because it's everyone's issue.